We got patient zero, and yeah, we got a bunch of weird stories tonight. Actually, for the first time in a while, it's not all social justice stuff. Actually, the news almost looked like news. I was actually somewhat shocked by it. I don't know what to make of it, but how you doing tonight, man?
Yeah, just another day. Good to be here again. Good to see Patient Zero.
Always, he's a good guy, dude. Appreciate him hanging out. Fucking a. The news, yeah, like I said, isn't well. Some of it's, well, I don't know. I mean, again, at least it's not the main headline that Trump has a Twitter account. I mean, that's shocking news that I could have covered Tuesday and I chose not to, and I'm going to choose not to cover it again because it's fucking dumb, you know. But I don't know the whole thing. Maybe in a week when they're done fighting about it, I guess. But there was one story I wanted to lead out with because I have been waiting on it because I would have reported on something, but I didn't want to be that guy to like try to rush into it and not have a goddamn clue what I was talking about. And I still, to be completely honest, only have sort of half an idea of what the hell is going on. But I think that's a good time to bring it in because now I can actually ask some reasonable questions about it. Because I was gonna write an article around the time that Trump was going to North Korea for that summit, but all this weird shit happened, so I put everything on hold until I figured out what the hell was going on. And like I said, halfway there at least. But yeah, so in Spain, this group of like at least 10, maybe a dozen guys just raided the North Korean embassy pretty much like a couple of days before Trump actually landed to do this North Korean summit that failed. So the timing was a little bit beyond coincidental. And now reports are saying that they were in contact with the FBI. So they're not necessarily a rogue revolutionary group. We don't know exactly. We still have to figure this out. But now's a good time to at least put it into the conversation because what the hell? You know what I mean? We have some details rather. Because at first, it could have been just a bunch of kids tearing shit up. That's what they were like making it out to be. But who does that? That doesn't make any sense. Like I did, you know what I mean? That's why I didn't say much about it because none of this shit still makes 100% sense. But you know, they're sharing. So it just so happens that the information that they stole from the embassy, because they didn't just like tear up posters and pee on posters and stuff like that. I mean, they did do that, but they actually did steal documents. This is an embassy, so they did raid the embassy and get the actual intelligence. And the intelligence went to the FBI. Now that's messed up for a few reasons actually, because the fucking FBI is not supposed to be operating in Spain, and it's doubly not supposed to be operating in a Korean embassy in Spain. That's all sorts of wrong. That's a CIA job, if anybody's. So what the hell? We got, and of course, the FBI and with Trump, and so now I figured I'd bring this whole thing in and just open up this can of nonsense, and I'd see what everybody else thought about it, man. I mean, I don't know if you got a chance to did I link that article in there? Yeah, I did. So I don't know if you got it. It's this is a mess. Like this pissed me off too because like as a I guess child of beatniks myself, like don't want war. So if we're gonna be able to end the we got to be honest, like it's an armistice. The war in Korea has been going on for like 70 years at this point. It's ridiculous. So ending it would be nice in my opinion. Not in everybody's though. Apparently in some people's opinion it would be very bad to end that war and they fuck everything up. So yeah, but I don't know. Did you get a chance at all? Because like this, it's kind of been going on the radar, I guess. But I'm trying to bring it into the limelight a bit.
Yeah, I heard a little bit about it. I think I read some speculation about just how suspicious it is, and people, wondering if these people could be linked to the CIA or whatever. But I mean, yeah, I mean, nothing would surprise me at this point if there are covert, ops going on or what have you. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty weird. I mean, honestly, I mean, I didn't know till recently that there even were North Korean embassies anywhere. But yeah, I recently learned that there are apparently quite a few.
Yeah, I guess
Um,
so, huh? That's weird. Those are
yeah, I
the
don't
only
want.
ones. They're the ones that are allowed to get out, but they still can't get the haircut they want. There's at least some rules. They can leave the country, but they still have to have that haircut.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty interesting. So, I mean, yeah, I don't, yeah, I mean, I think, it should be a good thing to have embassies in places, even if they, are really fucked up or whatever. But yeah, because I mean, like you said, just aggression and war and stuff is not going to help anybody anyway. So, I mean, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if there is, some nefarious shit going on. But I say that about everything, so maybe I'm just really, really paranoid. But who knows? At this point.
I'm very paranoid. I mean, this one, it was sort of like why I waited with Smollett. Like, what the fuck is going on? Is my initial reaction because all right, so 10 masked men, they get fake guns. They doctored them up. They got some faux firearms. They run in there hooting and hollering, making a scene. They tie everybody up. Apparently interrogated them. I don't know. I don't think they understand what interrogation is. I mean, they probably. I don't know what questions they asked them, but I can't imagine they interrogated them. It's not really the word, but reporters are retarded. And I'm an asshole for swearing a lot. Again, like if I can't find my nicotine, so I'm in a pissy mood. I swear a lot. Sorry, guys. But anyway, so they and then it's part of me, the part of me that is just, I guess, I don't know, maybe partly immature or just anti-social or something. Like, so these guys like get a bunch of Nerf guns, they put on some fucking masks, and then they go tear up the place. They steal computers, documents, and then two cars, and it's just like, fuck you, and they drop the mic and leave. Like, that's kind of like gonna be a Hollywood movie one day. I'm gonna watch it. I'm probably going to enjoy it. It sounds like a hoot. It sounds horrible for me to even say that, but at the same time, like, no, I don't want this. This is ridiculous. I don't encourage. This is horrible because the actual people involved were scared to death. I'm sure they didn't know they were being fooled, and evidently they were allowed to be tied up. So yeah, they were scared to death. This isn't funny, but the timing stinks. And like what I always say, it's like I want the people I hired to do a job to do that job, and I don't care what it is. Like, if my trash guy starts fiddling around with my gas meter, I'm going to get freaked out. So when the FBI's job, they're supposed to be like an interstate police agency, not to actually enforce the laws or anything like that, but to provide information between different jurisdictions. That's their law enforcement job, but they're supposed to be going after computer crime, including like the horrible stuff that we all think about when it comes to the dark net. That's their job. And they're also supposed to be a check on governments. So if your local system starts to get corrupt, you can call a federal authority figure to come in, so you don't end up living in like Hazard County via Dukes of Hazard with Boss Hogg, you know what I mean, in charge. Like that's their job. So what in the world are they doing talking to these people? Like, if the FBI should have done one of two things: said, "Don't ever call us again," or here's the CIA. You know what I mean? Because that's the CIA's job. So it's confusing to me that they're involved. Like, I don't. I'm not saying that these people who raided the embassy were master criminals. We'll find out when Scorsese gets involved, but I'm sure he's going to make them look smarter than they are. Because he likes to make the bad guy into the protagonist. So we'll see. That's how American media will spin it. It'll be weird, but yeah. That just bothers me. Like, the FBI enjoys a strong working relationship with our Spanish law enforcement partners that center on information sharing and regular cooperation around matters of mutual assistance. Well, you shouldn't. You know what I mean? It's like, if we're paying them to do one job and they're doing another job completely, which is, I guess, enforcing the law in Spain, well, then we have a problem. Because it's fucking weird. Like that. Talk about, this is some deep state stuff. Like, we didn't hire them to do this. What's going on?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is really weird. Yeah, I mean, if they're meant to be, just doing domestic stuff. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me at all. Why they would get involved in this at all? Either way, I really don't get it. But I mean, maybe they ran out of like patsies to supposedly bust in so-called potential terrorist acts that they actually set up by getting people with mental issues and shit and setting them up. Maybe they got tired and they were bored and they didn't have anything like that to do right now. Because I guess, yeah, if there haven't been any mass shootings, then I guess they've been pretty. Maybe the FBI has just nothing to do right now. So
Yeah. Lately, the people they've set up have been so sad. Like it's not even newsworthy. Like they're not making the headlines they used to because it's like, you know, they're like the last one I remember they set up some, you know, I guess I don't know, some Unabomber type. We gotta get a domestic terrorist, you know, like a right winger or something like that. It was this guy who had so many mental disorders and disabilities that he wasn't ever. He was an adult child. Like he lived with his parents, and the FBI had given him the money, the cars. Like this guy would never have been able to do anything without the FBI. Is what I'm saying. Like no even organization would have accepted him. Like if they were an actual terrorist organization, they would have been like, I'm sorry, guy. You got to be able to keep your pants on, you know, straight if you're gonna hang. You know, like can't be tripping over your shoes, bro. You got to be able to learn how to tie your shoes. So I mean, this is like really weird. Like I've never heard of the neo-Nazis getting mentally handicapped people off the street to conduct hate crimes. Like I only heard the FBI doing that, and that's really weird. I don't like the idea of my government like encouraging, you know, anything like this. What a weird concept. But they really do it. I mean, it doesn't go maybe like 5 or 10 years between somebody getting arrested and going, hey, the FBI told me to do it, like a Hal Turner or a Whitey Bulger, or there's a list, you know. Is that Jim Brewer? Who's that? But yeah, I'm sorry. You know, I get vulgar. I get vulgar for about 1,000 reasons. It's really hard for me to behave myself. Actually, I really try, but I can only do it for so long. I mean, just, you know, pretty low class person in general. But I'm working on that. You know, I won't be poor forever if I keep saying that. I don't know. Is that how those hanging there kitty posters work? You just keep saying the shit? I don't know. I'm not into that motivation stuff. You know. Oh, the special recruit. Yeah, we have him polish the grenades. You know, he's very valuable component to our operation. Is the guy with Down syndrome. You know, not to be a dick, but I don't see it. You know. But one thing I do think is a pretty amazing thing is we got like Cory Booker and a few other Democratic contenders and a lot of people talking about banning meat, or at least, you know, starting to tax red meat. So like gasoline, we don't want everyone driving all the time for leisure, so we're going to make gasoline extremely expensive. Not like that spawns the yellow jacket movement in France, or the yellow vests, or whatever you want to call them, but we'll just keep, you know, we're going to tax meat next. And turns out that all the vegetarians and vegans out there who thought they were going to be healthier due to it probably have some serious problems right now. And I'm not even being a dick, but Roundup causes fucking cancer, guys. So all the people who've been living off of that stuff on the farms, man, you better check yourself out, because yeah, kale is number one. The most pesticide contaminated vegetables. And all, you know, again, the government, we trust them so much with everything. You know, we have to trust the authority figures with our children, with our doctor, everything. We have to have it all government stamped and approved. Well, all this stuff was government stamped and approved, guys. And it's likely like the leading cause of cancer in this country is people who run 6 miles a day drinking kale shakes for breakfast are probably the most unhealthy people in the United States right now. So, yeah, you trust the government. Sorry, guys, this is what's going to happen to you, man. It's pretty sad, you know. I would like to say I'm sticking it to the people who said guys like me were bad, immoral people for not consuming cancer-ridden pesticide products. But maybe you should listen to me, bunch of jerks. You know, that's all. Maybe I am rubbing it in a little bit. In a very that's mean. It really is mean. I'm sorry, guys. Like I said, I don't know. It is what it is. That's who I am, I guess.
No, I think it's true. I mean, if people are dumb enough to think that if people are just still buying, the Monsanto slash Bayer, lies and shit, then I don't know what's gonna help them at this point. I think, I think enough people are talking about, the need to get away from, the shit that's contaminated, and unfortunately for people who, think they're eating healthy and but are still eating, the stuff that's contaminated, then it's, I mean, yeah, they talk a lot about meat and how deadly, meat supposedly is, and but at the end of the day, if if this is what you're eating, I don't see how you're going to be better off than me, and I don't yeah, frankly, I don't eat many vegetables. I don't enjoy them that much, but yeah, I know a lot of people have been talking about this, and Monsanto has only recently gotten finally a judgment against them for cancer causing Roundup and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely a tough spot for anybody who just eats vegetables all the time. But if they can't afford all the fancy organic shit that has less pesticides or whatever else, then they're pretty screwed. And
Yeah.
maybe eating meat is looking looking better to them at this point. Because yeah, like you said, I don't get. Yeah, I frankly don't understand people who, uh, you know, trust the government to be looking out for their health and well-being. Because as we know, like there's been so many stages, so many things government has said regarding health. Back in the 60s, it was like, go lay out in the sun, and then, oh, never mind, you're gonna get skin cancer from that, and then eat red meat. Oh, never mind, you'll have heart disease if you eat red meat. They never seem to
Oh,
know
dude,
anything.
one of the
So
things that pissed me when I was growing up, it was like, don't eat butter and dairy because it has cholesterol, and cholesterol will clog your heart and you're gonna die or whatever, or it'll make you unhealthy in general. So it's a switch to partially hydrogenated vegetable oils, so spreads. We all had shitty tubs of country crock, and I don't know if it's like that fake butter, margarine is, yeah, I can't even remember it because as soon as like the stupid science was proven to be bullshit, we all threw it out. Now we have those things to like keep markers in for our kids, like those Tupperware containers, like leftover salad goes in them because margarine sucks. But we really did have to eat that for like 15 years because of this exact kind of shit. Letting the government tell us what to think and what to eat. Turns out, if you really want to be healthy, go back to lard, fully hydrogenated triglycerides. Because if they're fully hydrogenated, that means there's no room for weird fucking stuff to get in there. Like if there's little pockets in the chemical composition, like, all right, I don't want to be flooding people with too much science talk, but you get me started, I can't stop. But the point is, like, picture like 3 bonded chemicals, and they have like 6 spots to fill up on each of them. Lard, fucking yeah, buddy. Fuck yeah, science, yeah, buddy. All right, anyway, so on like lard and animal fat, all 6 spots on all 3 parts are filled up. They're nothing. I mean, nothing gets in them. So like no sulfur, no bacteria, no diseases, no pesticides. It's like it's blocked. It's like a greased over goo. Can't penetrate it unless you're Bill Nye, because he's very penetrating all the time apparently. I'd watch out for him in general. But, then they said, switch to margarine. It's like, okay, great. So we all did. But it just so happens, like, in that triglyceride wheel, there's bits and spots missing out of each of the triglycerides. It can be a couple. Sometimes they try to artificially put, like, hydrogen molecules in them. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Point being is all sorts of impurities ended up in them. And then because we were eating plastic, basically, plastic made out of corn, filled with these weird impurities and stuff, it made us all really unhealthy. I don't see the reason why we don't even know about this stuff is because I can't even make it less complicated than that unless we had the full hour to talk about glyceride and the functions of hydrogen. You know what I mean? So different show. You know what I mean? I suppose, but I'll get a special guest. I suppose Steven has a nutritionist out there that can back me up so it doesn't sound like I'm talking like Bill Nye out of my ass, because he's not a scientist. He designed the space toilet. You know, he's the guy from what is that? Howard from fucking that weird show. Yes, he literally that was his scientist. I worked as a rocket scientist. He designed the space toilet. That's Bill Nye's career, and then he got a show on a Saturday morning cartoon show. That's his thing, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to be that guy. I'm not the science guy, just because I don't even have a lab coat on right now. I'm holding a cat and wearing a sweater, so I'm more like Mr. Rogers than him. And if you want to talk Saturday morning entertainment, that's pretty adorable. But yeah. So anyway. Like Making Stuff was saying too, there's some weird. I don't know if I haven't really talked about the New Zealand stuff much, except for the day it happened, because I was doing a show over on Canna Curate, and not mentioning it would have probably been a neglect of, responsibility at my point. But I am one of those. I'm a blackout. I don't drop links. I don't do any of that stuff. I mean. There is some weird stuff going on. I again, see, here's the thing too. Like, I used to have to do this stuff for a living. Like, I'd have to watch the videos of the shootings. I'd have to read all these crazy people's manifestos because of my job. Like, it wasn't like a hobby. It was, I had to go in and talk in corporate board meetings about security protocol and what the hell we were going to do if it happened to us. And after like a decade of that, man, I don't want to do it anymore. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to do that as a news profession. Like, I'm not saying other people shouldn't. I'm saying that if you do that for 10 years, your soul's going to get all weird and dark. And you're going to start talking like me. Because you're going to get really cynical and you're going to not give a shit about people's feelings. If you dwell on the very bottom of the scum bucket for a decade of your life, you will have everlasting effects, is what I'm saying. True warning. you don't come back. You know? Exactly. And then you end up listening to brutal death metal, and it starts to make sense, which is the weird part. You know? It's like, oh, I get what he's saying. I've seen that shit on Tuesday. It's like, oh God. I need So, I mean, I don't know if you want to drop in stuff, though. Like I said, this isn't me being... I don't tell anybody how they share information. This is how I share information. That's why I haven't done anything much about the New Zealand thing. I mean, I still stand by my meme that, gun control, and I'm still this is what I mean. I'm still a Second Amendment advocate. You're not taking my shit. And this buyback that's going... The buyback, the demand, not going to work out well for them. So I think that's a real shame, what's going on in every aspect. I need to talk to the other guys in IW, but I wanted to do something because, see, this is where I'm at in life, too. I went to make, like, some sort of serious political meme the other day, and it turned into a Game of Thrones meme about the Song of Ice and Fire, so... I don't know, man. It's one of those, like, the word repugnant actually comes into play. Like, I find it's beyond distasteful. It's like, it fucking hurts my feelings. So, but the basic idea that I have is a 3-part memes, like I've been doing, like, with Gordon Ramsay. I've been practicing too. Like, after getting better, it still takes too long to do these, and they don't look as good as they could, but I'll just say fuck it. I'll throw it in the whole thing because it's taken me too long to get the link going. Yeah, like, oh, hey, Lenny. Lenny's here. We got Making Stuff hanging out too, guys. If you're on YouTube, I'm sorry I'm not monitoring the chat tonight, but come over onto the Discord, please, because that's where you're going to actually see a lot of the links. And Patient Zero is, like, absolutely one of the funniest dudes I've ever met. He's super clever, and he's a wicked good time to hang out with, so you can't really see the memes and stuff he's dropping on Twitch and other places. So I really do say, if you can work your way over here one day, you should check it out. It's really fun here. You'll get why I'm laughing so much when things are so dark, because God help us, we need it. But you see what I was saying about like a 3-part meme, problem, reaction, solution? This is what we need to be aware of. This is what I was thinking of this whole week with the New Zealand situation. problem, reaction, solution. Like this guy got the crazy shooter's getting everything he wanted. You know, the city's burning. He's getting the gun control. He's getting the reaction. He's getting people like me to talk about him. He's getting everything he wanted. You know, just about. And he's changed the world with violence. He did it. So I'm getting a little frustrated by that. You know, it's like working at the post office. It's like the mail just keeps coming in, man. You can take it out the door all you want, but it's just gonna keep coming in the other door, one way or the other. It's fucking piles up, man. So, but anyway, I don't know. Long story short, it's like I was gonna encourage other people, you know, to not make Game of Thrones problem, reaction, solution memes. I'm just trying to soften things up, considering the timing. Because last week I made one about gun control. You know, I made fun of England for banning knives, you know. So then the New Zealand shooting happens, and I'm just sitting here like, all right, well, I'll give it a minute, you know, just to be that guy. Yeah, exactly. Problem is we can't talk. The reaction's the done. Yeah, exactly. Solution is the FBI is going to work with Google and the NSA. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, have you been asked about the New Zealand stuff, dude? Did you want to get into that? I'm sure you have to have something to say. It bothered everybody. It's one of those issues that has to have something, good or bad. But damn, what a thing, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I just wondered, like, you know, with all the gun control stuff, I thought New Zealand like had banned guns already. I mean, I don't know to what extent that's true, and I don't know if anybody, I don't know if you know or if anybody here knows, but yeah, because I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, real quick. I mean, they had basically the laws very similar to some of the ones in the United States. Like, you can have a AR-15, but you're not supposed to have a 100 round clip. They have like ammo magazine limitations, but the amount, like they don't, you know, like they have, like the arms that are used in these shootings aren't exactly like, you know, 50 caliber Gatling guns either. These are basic hunting rifles. And what he did was what anybody can basically do is he got a legal gun that fired just, you know, 5 shots like a regular hunting rifle that you would think normally, and then he accessorized it. He bought extra magazines, extra extended clip magazine that, you know, that held more ammo. He got better scopes. He got suppressors. He got the whole 9 yards. He decked out a regular hunting rifle, and he built it himself and then brought it there. So it's a little combination of him following the laws and then breaking the laws as well. So you know, that's kind of what his goal was, though. He really did want everybody, like, he wanted the gun control debate to flare up. So he did this on purpose, I think. He did do it half legal, half illegal on purpose, is what I'm saying. He didn't really like anybody. He hated the world. But yeah, now they have the same laws as Australia, where you can't have a fucking gun. Like, it's done. Like, they went from having, I'd say, basically, like, I don't know, trying to think, like, Missouri. I think Missouri compared to Chicago, I guess. I don't really know. Because in New England, we still have our guns, except in Massachusetts. Those are the only people that don't really get to have them. Everybody else gets to keep their guns, you know? It's kind of a weird place.
yeah, yeah, I mean, yeah, either way, you know, I don't, yeah, I mean, yeah, as you already said, like, um, as you already said, like, it's just an excuse for the problem reaction solution thing. So, you know, either way, I don't, yeah, I mean, either way, it's bullshit either way. You know, I don't, you know, yeah, frankly, I don't care. You know, if people die in shootings, it's not gonna change, you know, my position on people having an inherent right to defend themselves with guns or with practically anything, really. But yeah, I mean, it's, you know, and as making stuff mentioned in the chat, like, you know, there's, you know, nothing would surprise me at this point, nothing, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. But let's see.
I wish they could fry this guy. I mean, I'm sorry to even say that. I feel like a bad Christian and everything saying that. But here's one of those times where it's like the state can't fuck up the death penalty. It's like, okay, he did it, dead to rights. That's him. Fucking hang him. I don't know. But yeah, he might spend his whole life in jail, and we're probably gonna have to hear about him for the next 50 years. Like every once in a while, someone will check on him, and he'll be like, I don't get enough mints on my pillow. I don't have access to the internet and the high speed that I require. And it'll be like, what? Fuck you, buddy. I really wish I could have thrown you wherever we threw Osama bin Laden, dude. I'm being that guy. I just want these people to go beyond the point of exile. I want them to be gone. I don't know, because I'm very much against the death penalty on the general basis, because if the state's doing it, they're going to screw it up more often than not. But there are certain people that are like, yeah, he did it. And I don't know. We already know why. See, that's the thing. Like, when we caught him, like, some people, when we catch him, it's like, like the Vegas shooter. I would have loved to have known what the hell he was thinking. But he didn't write, like, a fucking 50-page manifesto. My whole problem with the gun control debate as it is right now is, like, I already decided that society was too sick for me a long time ago. And I decided I'm not going to leave the house anymore. I'm not going to take my kids to big gatherings. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to withdraw. And, the idea being is, with me being paranoid and disillusioned with society in general, I just sort of sit around and I have my guns and I feel safe in my little castle because that's where I have to be. Like, if I, you know what I mean? So there are people like me who are, like, very upset with the concept that you would take that very last peace of mind away. Like, I already don't want to go to, you know what I mean? I don't want, like, even if I go to a church, like, if I go to, like, the mega church in Manchester, I feel unsafe in those kinds of crowds. It's probably, like, somebody out there listening is diagnosing me with agoraphobia or something like that as we speak. And maybe they're right. I'm not even going to say it. I don't think it's a phobia, though. Like, it's due to many, many years of studying the issue and calculating the odds and saying, fuck it. I'm not doing that. Maybe... And maybe if I lived in a less populated or less densely populated area, I would feel safe. Because, again, just the only crowds I would want to be in is at, like, a rock concert. And even then, we're not safe there anymore. So, what's up? What are you going to say? I mean, and again, it could be argued that it is in the realm of not real fear, because the numbers are with you. If you do leave the house, you will probably make it home. It's very much the odds that you will successfully go out and come back. But I don't know. I think it's a combination. If I just don't give a shit, I don't want to hang out at the mega church. You know what I mean? I don't really want to hang out at the Super Bowl. I don't want to hang out anymore in crowds of 3,000 people to do anything, really. I mean, I don't know. I do my own fireworks at my house now, is what I'm saying. I just do my own shit, and I want to be left alone. So the idea that they're going to come and take my last, because locks don't work. Locks stop good people. Guns stop bad people. Locks stop good people. You do need both. Because you don't want to give good people the wrong idea or the wrong opportunity. And you certainly don't want to give bad people the wrong idea or the wrong opportunity either. So it actually seems to work if you have both, is what I'm saying. That's where I come from.
Yeah, well, it looks like, according to Lanny Brockstein in the chat, I mean, I guess you'll be able to go out again if his magical fantasy comes true of laws that can just legislate that guns be non-lethal. If you think,
he's not saying that.
If you think that's if you think that's no, he said that. He said let's have legislation that makes guns non-lethal, because that's not a completely fucking ridiculous idea.
Well,
what the fuck does that even mean, dude?
I think that's a slingshot, Lanny. I think that's a slingshot. There's a non-lethal firearm.
No, I'm sorry, but that's fucking ridiculous. I mean, it's just as ridiculous as saying, using legislation to ban guns. Period. It's just as ridiculous. Shit doesn't work that way. Okay, you don't magically decide, yeah, let's ban guns. I mean, if that shit could happen, it would happen. But life's not like that. You can't magically ban guns from existence. You can only make it harder for people who don't have ill intent to acquire guns in self-defense. And as far as I'm concerned, the same thing would applied to the idea of these magical non-lethal guns, wherever the fuck that even means. How about
Well,
ask the government to have non-lethal guns? How about that?
that would be.
Okay,
I would
that would,
start with them and see how it works, and then work us down with the not. I mean, they have not. I mean, if, you mean like guns that fire beanbags? See, here's the only problem with that. You remember what I was talking about? How I know the chemical composition of fat cells. I also know how to work incendiaries, because chemistry is chemistry. You know, burning fuel for the body, burning fuel in your fireplace. You know what I mean? It's a matter of survival skills to know how to make gunpowder, in my opinion. So I know how to make gunpowder. And I'm a good guy. That's the thing. The guy that was in New Zealand was not a stupid man, and he knew at least basic engineering. He might not have known physics. So he might not have been able to alter a gun that fires non-lethal bullets into firing lethal bullets. But just basic metallurgy will make any gun I could buy. I mean, you know what I mean? What I'm saying is, if you have the mind of science and you have the will of evil, you'll do it. So, like, even if we had, like, a non-lethal firearm in everybody's home, when somebody wants to run amok, and I'm not saying that, like, to be silly, running amok is the actual term. Like, amok, A-M-O-K, is what is the actual word for going on a killing spree. It's quite euphemistic, but it is the word. So if someone wants to do that, if they are amok, they'll do it with whatever material is possible. But, you know, an evil man with like, you know, I'm just saying, you know, like, it's the internet age, so you don't even need access. You know, you don't need a college education. There's nobody gatekeeping this knowledge. I don't have a college education in myself. I'm not a smart, you know, well, you can say I'm a smart guy, but I'm certainly not a sophisticated person by any means. So, you know, like Davy Crockett could make gunpowder with urine, charcoal, and what else did he use? Wood, or something like that. You know, you take the urea off and you mix it with the charcoal, and you know what I mean? Like, so that's what this guy, like, what I always explain to people too is, like, a magazine is a metal box with a spring in it that feeds things upward. That's all it is. The tightness of the spring dictates how many bullets you can shove in the thing. That's it. So if you can engineer a twisty piece of metal, you can change the amount of ammo you can hold in a magazine. Now, don't do that because it's illegal. But it's not that freaking hard. You know what I mean? It's pretty easy to get around, you know, so the only thing, you know, again, the only thing that keeps people from not doing this is that they're not insane and evil. You know what I mean? Like, curious people like me shouldn't be, like, criminalized or made to be, you know, wrong. You know what I mean? Like, because what I fear is next is, like, I'll get a knock on the door saying, like, you know what they used to know. Like, see, like in 1950, everybody knew this shit. This was stuff like they used to teach people. Chemistry was like a high school subject, not, you know, a doctorate subject, because we pushed off that higher learning to make it easier for everybody to get access, blah, blah, blah. The college, you know, education used to actually mean something, you know. Like, even in my father's day and age, like, they came out knowing basic chemistry. Kids today they come out of high school not knowing how to read and write. So the idea that they know how to make gunpowder, yeah, are we kidding ourselves? Like, that's the thing. So they're dumbing down our society to keep us from knowing this stuff because they're afraid of us, or they're afraid of us, you know. You know what I mean? You know, again, too, like, the caliber, the less lethal ammo, I mean, you can get a BB gun. We have that too. If, like, you're trying to limit people to BB guns, you can, alright, I know a guy who can make a potato gun that can shoot BB so fast that it would rip through a brick wall. Because that's what I'm saying about engineering, chemistry, and in physics, dude. You can't legislate people's intelligence. You can't oppress. It's in a sense, what you're saying is we should burn books. Because, like, what about my freedom to tell people about basic chemistry? Am I now a criminal for explaining that a magazine that fits into a rifle is a metal box with a spring in it? Should I be penalized for spreading that knowledge? Should I be, you know what I'm saying? You see where we're going with this? You know what I mean? I'm not trying to give you a hard time. I love these conversations. I love the fact that you have such balls, dude, to back up your points. Like, because we don't have conversations like this enough. But you got to trust me, man. If you give a person a .22 caliber, they'll figure out a way to re-rifle the barrel to make it spin faster to make it more lethal. Or they'll figure out a way to, like, put a spring on the shoulder stock so it fires faster. Or they'll do about 100 other things. They'll repack the casings with more gunpowder to give them a higher velocity. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, this is engineering science. This is science, dude. You can't, trust me when I say that the people in Congress who think that the world's going to end in the next 10 years, they really don't understand science. If they're telling you that, they're scaring the shit out of you. I'm not trying to scare the shit out of anybody. I'm telling you there's a justification for being scared, but the way around that is to not try to limit others, but to improve your own knowledge and protect yourself. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So instead of saying nobody can have a gun, I just went and got a gun. I got a really big, mean motherfucking gun, too. I didn't get no .22. You know? I dare somebody to shoot me with a .22 when I'm holding a fucking 12 gauge with an 18-inch barrel, you know, and 3-inch slugs in it. That shit would knock a bull off its ass, you know? The thing you get put down. You don't get up. Because if you're breaking in my house, I don't want you to get up. You don't get to get up. You just never do. And again, I'm not trigger happy. I'm not. I've never hurt anybody like that, and I hope never to. But I'm not gonna have that shit happen. I got 5 kids and a wife, you know. So, and like I said, maybe I am agoraphobic, and I'm using it as a placebo or a talisman. But even still, don't go around taking people's talismans away. That's just mean. You know, we're gonna like have nightmares. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you know, to me, this just comes down to what Macon Stuff said. He said, you have the ability to use whatever weapon you so choose, but don't mandate others to do so by the force of governments. And that's what it comes down to. You know, if you want to be a fucking pacifist, you don't like hurting people, you know, good for you, then don't get a gun. But frankly, no individual nor any collection of individuals like the government has the authority to say, you know, that what an individual can and can't do to defend themselves, whether they judge on their own, you know, on their own accord, whether they believe taking a life is justifiable in self-defense. That's up to each person. That's not for Lanny to impose on us. So I mean, that's just the reality, you know.
I like I like optimism. I like trying, but what I mean to say is this guy. All right, so New Zealand has a ban on anything higher than a .22, or I mean, how about? Let me see. What would it be? Maybe a 3mm if you're listening outside of the United States, like not a 9mm, but something probably like 1/3 its size. Whatever your typical ammo would be. We use caliber here. They use a radial diameter for their ammo to measure. Point being is, you know, they just measure the casing. It's a weird system. I like ours because I like, well, again, anyway, I'm an American, obviously. But, so if you did that, all right, now this guy, all right, what he would do, and this is, I'm not telling anyone to do this, but Lanny, please listen, because you don't want to give people a false sense of security. I'm just telling you how physics works and how engineering works. What he would do is he would take his rifle to a machine shop, and he would bore the rifle barrel out so that it has a larger hole down the middle, and then re-rifle it with a tight spiral to increase its velocity and its accuracy. Then he would alter the magazine, all right, stick it in, and he would be the only one with a high caliber or a high powered weapon in a society with everybody having BB guns. That is what I'm saying. And that's not a good idea. You can't like stop people's minds from solving problems. You can't. You know what I mean? That's what I'm, you know, and I'm not, again, don't do any of this, guys. Don't take a gun to a machine shop. Don't do that, because you're fucking people like me right out of my house. You know what I mean? I would make it, I'm so mad about people doing shit like this. Trust me. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that basic engineering, dude, I'm not being a dick, dude. When I talk to people who think they can legislate this problem away, I just have to explain to them this stuff. It's science, technology, engineering, and math. It's the STEM fields. You have to apply the STEM fields to this problem. We have to. We can't apply emotional responses. We can't apply wishful thinking. Science, technology, engineering, math. That's it. Those are the only things that I mean, maybe it's just because that's my personality, but I think almost those things fix damn near every problem. You know what I mean? Like this, see, I think, you know, legislation requires this conversation. You know what I mean? It requires it, though, because people need to know, people need to be able to express their ideas. Is this going to work? Why would it not work? You know what I mean? I don't think politicians who never, ever have been to a machine shop, have never fired a rifle, have never been to a chemistry laboratory, they've never spoken to a physicist. They shouldn't be making gun laws. They don't understand what they are. You know what I mean? It's weird. It's like, I've had conversations with people who want to talk about religion that, you know, have never read a religious book. It's like, okay, I mean, I guess, you know what I mean? Like, we could talk about our feelings on the subject, but we can't actually talk about the book. We can't talk about the history or the genealogy charts, because it's going to be a one-sided conversation. You know what I mean? So, you know, but, oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, too, you can't, like, say we said gas masks are illegal. A guy like me is going to go, okay, I have, you know, I'm not, see, this is what I'm saying. I could just tell you off the top of my head about 6 or 7 different ways to engineer a gas mask with shit you have laying around in your house. You know? Raid your wife's makeup cabinet and take all her cotton balls. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's, you get enough duct tape, you can engineer the shit out of anything, bro. You know? And you can't stop crazy. That's what I try to explain to these people. The only way you can stop crazy is if you, like, step on everybody all the time. When I was working security and they would ask me, how do we solve this active shooter problem? I said, gates, fences, armed guards, more surveillance, fucking snipers on the roof wouldn't hurt, a helicopter circling above. Like, you know what I mean? So you have, the balance of a society. You know, we can't keep suggesting that, all right? And as if you are the security manager of the company, that's your job to suggest those things. But I'm telling you, man, you can't, like, make it, you know, a city into a prison. Like, my city already feels like a prison. It sucks. Like, I want out, man. You know? I really do. And I'm not alone. Watch this. Actually, this is one of the stories I was going to cover tonight. This is actually a good time to bring it up, because this isn't just me talking about my feelings. I'm not alone here. I'll tell you that. You know? But, let me see. New Yorkers are getting the fuck out. I have too many tabs open right now. I just killed my computer. All right. More than a third of New Yorkers say they can't afford to live there. You know? So it's going to be easy to find seats on the subway, because 30% of the people are going to be leaving New York because they're broke and they hate it. But they're broke and they hate their life, so it's really difficult for them to get out because they're stuck. You know? 41% fear they'll be forced to pull up stakes. You know? 41, that is like half the city. They're done. You know? So this is also, like I said, too, these people, once they're out there, man, they're not going to, like, you know, adapt. Like, if they move to your town, man, watch the fuck out, dude. Because people from the Northeast have a weird tendency of telling you that's how everybody should live everywhere. We're very pushy types of people. I'm one of the friendly ones. So, you know, it happens. But, yeah, dude, you know, they made the city into a prison. Like, they kept legislating people's behavior, their options, their how much gas, like I said, we don't want people driving as much, so we're going to make gas so expensive that they're going to burn things down in the street or leave or whatever, But that's the price you pay for thinking we can correct human behavior by punishing everybody all the time.
I don't know. The Northeast has always like scared me, kind of. Like I've never wanted to go fuck around up there. I mean, you sound great and all, but I don't know. Generally, when I think about like New York and all that, Boston, I'm like just afraid. Like I don't know. You know what? Honestly, it's not even just the majority of people. It's that knowing that the NYPD is like one of the largest militaries in the world, I feel like it's just a prison. It's just I
Oh, it
feel like
is.
it's a giant open air prison. Like I just feel like your any like semblance of constitutional rights that I think I have are like they're off the table when you set foot in a place like New York City. It's like it's just not there. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why I have that perception, but
No, you're not wrong. And see, when I leave, I know I'm not in the Northeast anymore because you get like past Maryland, and you start getting into like Virginia, sort of, where people start their accent changes and they don't talk a mile a minute and they don't yell all the time. You start noticing that that's one of the first things. It's not like the trees are a different color or the air's different scent or anything like that. Unless you're in like Cincinnati or one of the cement. Anyway, that's a different story. Yeah, and Pennsylvania sort of smells. Just throwing that out there. Lots of factory farms. AOC and cow farts and all that stuff isn't 100% wrong, guys. Just because it's silly doesn't mean it's 100% wrong. But yeah, you feel it. Like, you're like, because again, like on the side of the road, it's like, you don't see, we have lasers pointed at you to fuck you over if you go 5 miles over the speed limit. Or if you've had more than 2 beers tonight, you're going to jail. Or, like around my city, I'll show you, like on one particular road, it's like, meet our judges, exceed the speed limit. It's like threat after threat after threat. The state's watching, we're going to get you. You better stay in line. It is seriously like fucking like They Live. You know how when he puts on the glasses and behind the signs it's all this like, obey. That's how it is up here. It is fucking depressing. And people around here are really starting to change and get weird, man. So we don't like it. We're trying to leave. But like I said, you try to sell your house and like all of a sudden, you're being rezoned and now you can't have this and you can't have a driveway anymore. There's too many cars in the city. We're taking away everybody's driveway. We're going to enforce a grass policy. You must have 3 feet of grass around your house. It's like, you guys are fucking nuts. And, we can't even leave, But, yeah, you get past, like, into, like, the Maryland sort of areas. You see, like, signs on the side of the road that says, Jesus loves you, treat your neighbor like your friend. You know what I mean? It's like, those are the signs on the side of the road, like, hey, we have pie here. That's the sign, you see. Like, you know what I mean? Like, cheap deals on cigarettes. Like, that's the sign. It's not like, we're gonna get you. So it's fucking ridiculous, man. Like, I don't know. And the weird part is, though, is like, you see, like, adults screaming at their kids, like, I don't want to be miserable. I don't want to be a socialist. I want to be happy. And they're like, no, you have to be miserable. You have to learn how to obey better. You have to fall in line. You must stand in the bread line. Otherwise, you'll die. Everybody stands in bread lines. Why do you think you're so special? It's like, would you stop yelling at the 5-year-old with your communist weird shit? Because it's freaking me out, man. I don't know, but everybody thinks that everybody's a communist around here, and like anybody who isn't a left-wing like weirdo or a communist is crazy, so they're dangerous. So, you better shut your mouth if you're not like fully involved in like feminism and fucking globalism and you know what I mean, like you name it ism. Like 16-year-olds need to vote? Well, you're a bad person if you don't agree with that. It's like, you guys are fucking nuts. And if you try to put my son in a dress again, I'm going to freak out. It's like, I got to get the fuck out of here, man. It's nuts, dude. But that's what I mean about, like, having politicians try to change our behavior. Maybe they can. They can make us fucking miserable. That's about it. If that's improving society, if that's progress to make everybody fucking miserable with all these rules, well, I guess we could go that way. You know, we could do that. I've seen it work in progress around here. Proof positive. It's possible. And it's so much fun, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm out here in straw banning country, straw banning and soda tax country, where people also, like being enslaved, but just in a slightly different way.
Oh,
You know, yeah. I mean, I'm from Wisconsin, and so yeah, I ended up moving around a lot, and yeah, I mean, I can definitely say it's, the coasts are just different. The West Coast is just way different from, any type of life in flyover country or whatever. It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't see how big cities can be sustainable for much longer. It's like just a disaster waiting to happen. That's what I think about it. So.
yeah. I'm writing up here, like up north and in some pockets in Vermont, you have kind of like the center left libertarians, quite a few of them. But there's a million people in New Hampshire, for instance. There's two districts. There's District 1, where I live, which has, what is it, 800,000 people living in it, and the North Country has the other two. And, yeah, I think most of them are like Canadian drywallers. I don't know. It's a tourist place. You don't really, if you want to live up, it's cold. It's like Nova Scotia, northern Maine and stuff. It's fucking cold. It's pine trees and moose, dude. So, I mean, go for it. Don't you know it's very cold though. But yeah, I don't know. I don't live there though. Like I live in the paved part of New England. There's the forest parts. Like I think I could live in Maine, and I actually could afford to move to Maine. And just out of sheer laziness, I might even do that, because like you can buy acreage in Maine like you can in Kentucky, but it's fucking cold. Another thing is too, it's like you buy all the acreage and then you want to try to do stuff with it, and you realize the entire thing is overgrown with hemlock trees, and the entire so the soil, the pH balance is like only good for growing blueberries and taking a leak on. That's basically how, because it's all acid, and it's all it. All right. Again, I'll go back into chemistry, food chemistry. It's so much fun on my new show. We'll rename it. It'll be physics decentralized. But I don't know. I mean that's basically the hour though. Is there any other stories that you thinking about lately? Because I didn't really get to half of mine. Because I mean, I'm glad we did talk about the New Zealand thing. Because fucking A, I probably should have done it earlier. Got it off my chest. Because that shit bothers me, to tell you the God's honest, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've just been following, the Boeing story. Just looks like they're just starting to look at the black boxes and all that, but there were definitely similarities between the two crashes that happened with the type of jet. And yeah, I mean, it's just weird kind of being in the epicenter of Boeing right now. And like I live like not even that far from the actual Boeing manufacturing plant. And yeah, a lot of the people who work there are freaking out and stuff because they're such a big employer in the area. But yeah, so I mean, it'll just be interesting to see what comes of the investigation if Boeing really suffers from this. I mean, it's that's just more of my the thing I'm following right now. But yeah.
Real quick, do you familiar with like Raytheon or IBM and their history, or their combined history, or whatever, as far as it goes? Like those companies in my area.
I don't really know about as relates to the area that you live in. No.
IBM. I don't. I saw it actually. It was kind of actually just something I saw on We Are Change. So it really isn't my story. It's more theirs. I try not to, give other YouTubers like their story an hour after they do. But he brought it up because around here, like our Boeing, our manufacturing is Raytheon, which is a weapons manufacturer and military industrial complex type of deal. They also do medical research because, of course, you blow people up and then you sell them stuff to patch them up afterward. You got to make that dime twice. But IBM is huge in Massachusetts, and there's some really evil ass companies. I guess I don't know. They're taking a hit now because IBM they are the people that invented the basic computer. It was a punch card system, an automated punch card system that kept track of the people in their concentration camps. That was IBM's first job. And after the war, they moved to my neighborhood. And almost everybody in my family either worked for Raytheon or IBM. And it's fucking freaky hanging out with these people, let me tell you. They made me look like a fucking saint. But yeah, I don't know. So okay. Anyway, the big thing now is IBM. Now they're a company that made their start cataloging people for the Third Reich, like numbering them. Those tattoos are IBM sorting codes that you see on the people in the old photographs. Those number tattoos are IBM sorting codes. They're making the news just recently because they're now revolutionizing facial recognition software to be the best in the world. That's their new product, and I'm sitting here like, I mean, I'm not saying Boeing is even close to this. I mean, they make planes, and sure, the planes drop some bombs and blah 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 blah. But this is the American industry right now. This is where we're at. We have the planes and the missiles, and now we have the Third Reich sorting factory going. This is getting fucking strange. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know if I have a news story here. This is probably why it's like after the show ended, I'm just sort of pontificating and scratching my beard on this one. Like, does anyone else see anything weird about this?
No, no, you're right. I mean, it's I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, he said it all.
I don't, I don't either. I'm just, I don't, I hate bringing things up if I have nothing to follow up, but like, I don't know, man. If anybody's out there can figure this out, because I just like look at it, I'm like, this gives me, I don't know. Something's weird about what's going on. No, man. All right. Yeah, I guess we were gonna talk. I was gonna do a little bit about Google. I mean, Venezuela's not going well, but there's really nothing too incredibly new in that, So I don't know. I mean, I suppose it's a good enough time to say we had a good hour, dude. I really appreciate everybody who came, hung out, man. Lanny, dude, you're a good guy. I hope. I don't know. You know what I mean. I hope we figure it out. Nobody. I think we're both on the same side. As we really don't want anybody to get hurt, so we'll figure it out. And having at least talking something, makes sense. Because if nothing else, I'll know what new policy I'll have to be going around when I don't follow it. That's coming down the pipe. So I don't mind that one bit, but. Yeah, Cryptic Cynic and Gregory Patrick, this has been Truth Decentralized. I appreciate everybody who hung out. Lanny, Making Stuff, Patient Zero, you guys are awesome. We are going to be back on MSP on Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I do believe that is 11 p.m. UTC. And yeah, I'm sure Truth Force, and I'm thinking Chiapa's going to be there for that. And yeah, it'll be a good time. So, yeah, I don't know. Let me think. You guys should definitely find us all on Steam It. That's where we're at. If you want to see this this broadcast live, we are at our Discord home show channel. So we have all the links everywhere we can. If they're on the YouTube, they're on the Twitch. they're in the comments all over the place. So if you guys want to let us know how you felt, if you got anything to say, we answer all our comments the best we can. So, feel free to yell at us. And, yeah. I got my little son here, so he's telling me I got to go. But have a good night, everybody. It's been fun. I'll see you soon.